the industry's longest running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasevich.
Hey, what's up, everyone? So glad you're here. Happy day after Christmas for all of you who celebrate. For those of you who don't, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus, happy. Hey, we're so glad you're here. As you might have guessed, I'm not Christian Karasevich. I'm Phil Gerbishak. I'm the typical co-host that is on Social Chat, and I'm delighted that you're here. Christian is sick. So you get me and a cadre of amazing human beings, and I'm so excited. This is our year-end wrap-up show. We've got lots of stuff for you today. We've got great folks that are going to share their prediction and their favorite tool of the year. Some of these are going to be tools that we talked about before, some are not, but we're going to predict the future and look in our crystal ball. We've talked in the past about all sorts of stuff. We've had some amazing guests, and we brought back our greatest hits, our smartest people, our favorite friends to join us today. We wish Christian could be here too, but he's sick, so he's gonna be cheering us on in the replay. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, we are truly grateful for you. This year has been fantastic for us. We've done another, I think, 48 or 49 episodes. It's been really cool here on Social Chatter, and we couldn't do it without you listening. So if you're watching this, if you're thinking, hey, what's going on? Oh yeah, Boxing Day too. Lisa Monks reminded us Boxing Day too. So thank you, Lisa. So whatever you're sharing, whatever you're celebrating, even if you're just celebrating yourself, we really are glad you're here. So we're going to have some fun today. This is going to be really fast for all of us. And I just want you to remember that anytime you want to catch this and you wonder when this is or what's going on, you can always sign up at socialchefs.com/daily and get your daily dose. So first, we're going to bring on the amazing Jim Fuse. So Jim is the host of the Tim and Jim Show, the Jim and Tim Show, and the most awesome show that is on the internet, besides this one, of course. So we love their show, and we're actually going to be jamming on their show. Hopefully Christian's healthy enough to join me on the show. We're super excited. But Jim, what's going on, man? How are you?
Well, it's great to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show once, and I've been on several times because I know you've been busy, and I've been honored to attempt to fill into your shoes because there's some big shoes, and it's been great. It's a holiday season, everybody has been good in my family. Sorry to hear Christian's sick. I know he was excited about being here, but just excited to kick off 2020 and not only close out our year with you and Christian, but also we've got a lot of exciting guests on our show, and excited to see what the Roaring 20s has to bring us.
Yeah, Roaring 20s. So I'm thinking Great Gatsby. I'm all right because that was the Roaring 20s. We'll have some flapper jackets, so we'll bring Ross on in a little bit. He's got a nice flapper dress for us, so we're excited about that. He probably doesn't even know that he's wearing that for us. So thankfully, it's bottom down. You won't see it on camera, folks. You're just gonna have to trust me here. But yeah, this is exciting. And of course, what do you think the over under is on the amount of people that talk about 2020 vision is, Jim?
Ooh, gosh, I don't know. I almost want to say we need the Infinity Stone from Avengers.
No doubt. Right? Let's snap all those people that are going to say that. Please come up with something better. If you're thinking that you're being snappy and that's going to be yours, right? So even me who wears glasses, I am like, yeah, that is like the worst, cheesiest joke ever. And everybody's doing it. So I would encourage folks to think about a different theme unless you want to be sucked up in the sea of same. But Jim, what other than people overusing 2020 vision, what's your prediction for social media marketing in 2020?
Well, I really think we're going to see a continued move towards not only video, but live video. I think that people really enjoy the human to human aspect of live video. It's not recorded, just like this show is live. I think you as well have seen the success. It shows us that we're real people and that it's okay to make mistakes. None of us are perfect. So I also think in conjunction with that is going to be the rise of captioning. And I think people are going to start doing more repurposing with their live video, because when you think about it, you guys do it. It's great content. Why not put it out on other places? So I really think we're going to see a continued use of video, but captions is important, because I found out last week, we were talking with Chrissy Buck, that probably 80% of people, when they watch a video, likely on their phone, have the volume off. So how can they see what you're saying if you don't have captions?
I think that's a terrific point. In fact, I would say that the first tool that comes out with real-time captioning is going to kick butt. And my guess is it's actually going to be my favorite tool, which is Otter. I'm going to talk more about that later, but I think Otter is going to come out with real-time captioning because they already have real-time transcription. The challenge with that is there's got to be a lag, right? There has to be some sort of lag. So I'm curious how that plays out. But any thoughts on that, Jim? Any thoughts on how one might live caption? Is because obviously if it's coming out of my mouth, there's no way to prepare for that. Right.
That's a really good question. I mean, I think I also like Otter, and my wife is actually a court reporter, and so she does real time actual takedown of people's stuff. And if you ever watch the Oscars and stuff, those are actually real people doing that. So it can be done, but it goes back to it's not perfect, because one of the things that happens is the machine transcribing the voice. And so it really becomes a perception of the accuracy. So I mean, as long as you're willing to accept maybe say a 90%, 95% accuracy, I think it could happen sooner than later.
Cool. Yeah, I think you're right. The other challenge with that is as you want interaction, right? You bring on different guests, and certainly I never am ever concerned about my guests, but if you bring on audience members, right, to ask a question, and to kind of steal a line from Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Don't promote, right? Don't veil your promotion as a question. So it's Phil Gerbishak of Social Media Marketing. And if you get Social Media Marketing at socialmediamarketing.com, you're really great. And my question was, Gary, you're the best. And I've seen that. So how, any thoughts on how we do some maybe audience assistance to help them promote less and be more human with that?
I think that some of it is, and you guys do a great job of it, it's prepping your audience and say, look, here's kind of the rules, right? Here's the left and right limits of what we expect from you, because otherwise everything gets off track. And I think that's one of the things that people don't realize about not just video production, but live video production, is you have to script it. If you don't script it, you end up, God knows where you're going to go. But I think that that's a key to it. And you almost have to say, it's kind of like the old gong show, right? You're going to gong them off if they don't stay on topic.
I love that. That's great. So if there's a budding Chuck Barris out there, we'd love to hear from you. Please chime in, let us know, right? We could do that for sure. I think that's a fantastic idea, Jim. So cool, man. So tell us about your one tool that you want to talk about today, how you use it, what it is, and what we do.
I just found out about this tool a couple weeks ago from Jeff C., and it's called Descript. So Descript is similar to Otter in some aspects, but then it's also different. But it allows you to, for up to 3 hours a month free and 10 hours a month paid, transcribe video or your audio, and it really does a fantastic job. Now, what's really amazing on the video part, if you've got ums and ahs in there and you cut it out of the transcript, it cuts it out of the video. So it shortens the video to match the corrections you're making. It allows you to correct the spelling of the transcription without affecting the actual audio play. And it's extremely easy to use. And I like the fact that it's a flat fee type service similar to Otter, as opposed to having to pay for the minute. Because I think that's one of the things that's holding people back from doing transcription, is the concern of the minute-to-minute cost.
Wow. Awesome. Descript. So folks, if you're watching the video, take a look down below. You'll see that the URL is there. It's socialchefs.com/go/Descript, SCRIPT. Really cool. Well, Jim, I want you to stick around, man, but in case people are ditching right now, how do they find more of your awesome and how do they get connected to you, my friend?
Well, I'm always on LinkedIn at Jim Fuhs, Fuhs. I'm also on Twitter at Fusion Marketing, MKTG. And I do hang out sometimes on Facebook and Instagram, but really Twitter and LinkedIn are the two areas I really like to be on the most. And thank you so much. And I will definitely hang around because maybe we'll pick on Ross.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll pick on Ross. If we didn't pick on Ross, Ross would feel disappointed. I know how Ross is. So cool, man. Well, thanks, Jim. I really appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you back in just a little bit here.
Sounds good.
Cool. So yeah, so my next guest, I'm super, super excited. Our next expert is the one and only Ross Brand. If you don't know Ross, he knows more about live stream. In fact, I would argue he's forgotten more about live stream than most people will ever know. And I'm really, really excited that Ross is here. He's a great guy. He's been on our show before. And I'm just always impressed by how much he knows and how much he shares. What's up, Ross? How you doing?
Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah,
it's great
true,
to be
man.
here. Happy holidays. And
Yeah.
This is always a fun show. So I'm really glad to be back.
Cool, man. Well, I'm super, super glad that you're here, man. So Ross, so what's new with you, man? What are you working on for the next year?
So doing a show, well, this will tease kind of what I'm going to talk about when we get to the app part, but I'm doing a show with Streamyard called Streamyard Connect. And so I do that a couple times a month and also continuing on with my own shows and working with people who are using live video on behalf of their business to build their personal brand, and doing some podcasting, going to events, and the entire spectrum of content creation, social media, and the like.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what do you think is going to happen in 2020, right? As we think about the year ahead, there's a lot of stuff that could be. You're the king of live stream. Live stream universe is your jam, and you got lots of other stuff going on, Ross. So tell us, what is your prediction for 2020 for social media marketing, please?
So I'm looking at the way different media companies have dealt with the lack of organic reach on some of the social channels, or their desire to monetize their audience and move their audience to their own property. So you're seeing ESPN set up ESPN Plus, Disney with Disney Plus, and Food Network with Food Network Kitchen. In other words, their own app where they're delivering programming for a subscription fee, a monthly subscription fee, where their audience will go watch the shows on their own property and talk to one another, have social engagement perhaps built in as well. And so I'm interested in watching how solo creators and small business folks will jump on that trend. If they will jump on that trend, if they do jump on that trend, how will they go about doing that? Perhaps that's a renewed emphasis on driving traffic to their website, embedding a player for video, even for live shows, and sending people to chat about it on their own website. Perhaps it's driving people to their website to listen to a podcast instead of to a podcasting app where there's a lot of options, right? So you're sending people to your website. Sounds simple, but it's something with content we've kind of gotten away from to a large degree, and we've gotten more to sending people to Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and perhaps there's a better way to create an experience for your audience that also works better for your business and your brand. So I'm curious on how people who do not have the budget to build their entire own platform might do that. So I think a renewed emphasis on the website, perhaps also live local events, perhaps doing a live stream at an event, or having a live podcast recording and selling tickets and getting audience members involved. Phil, one of the interesting things about the predictions, I did the 160 predictions for 2020 at Livestream Universe. That's how you work in one of those promos. You tie it to the host, and then it's hard for them to get upset because you're crediting them for their contribution. But back to the main point is, you mentioned people moving away from talking head and what I like to call walk and talk, where you grab your cell phone and you walk around, you talk right into the mirror there. But while we love this kind of programming, and there's a lot of good programming out there, what else are people going to do with live video? What type of entertainment, what type of education, what type of content will people be creating that now moves beyond what we've seen, that starts to explore new territory? And I don't know what that's going to be. So I don't know. These are so much predictions as trends I'm looking for. Maybe you have an idea because it came from your prediction. What do you think people are going to be doing in the next year or two that might be different from what we're doing here, or what people do when they grab a cell phone and they take a walk around the block and talk about what they're up to?
Yeah, well, I think the rise of segmented podcasts and video, I think, is going to be really big, right? So we do that on this show where we have tool time, right? We've got guests, we kind of have a break in the middle, and we have that, but I think it's going to be even shorter. One of the things that I see is that we're going to need to be able to plug them in the middle of things, almost like we would a promo, to your point, Ross, right? Where people are going to have to, maybe here's the talking head, but then we plop a quick video in that talks about this. Talks about, something that they're doing that then adds even more value. Because the key to this is value. The big miss is a lot of times these talking head videos have zero value at all, because people just like to hear their own talk. And they're like, hey, hold on, we're going to wait. I've got 30 more people that need to join in. No, get to the point, right? I mean, nobody likes to hear that. In fact, I can tell you, if I ever hear that in a replay, that they're waiting for people to join, I just want to jump right now. It's almost like the person who says, I'm approaching 5,000 friends, and I might have to cut some of these people. I'm going to be the first one that leaves.
Yeah, I'm out,
right? Like, I'm out. If you don't know which of the 5,000 fake people that you're connected to you want to cut, you and I have different problems. So right. I think we're going to see that. I think we're also going to see, again, the shorter nuggets that are super valuable. I think it's super interesting to me that LinkedIn Live forces us to go more than 10 minutes, because, right, their platform for regular video goes to 10 minutes, and they really want more than 15, but their goal is 10 minutes on a live, which tells me if I go 15 minutes, 4 of those equals an hour. If I then slide in some content commercials, not just regular crappy commercials of, hey, buy this product, which nobody does anyway, but some interesting stuff, I really think that's going to be it. And I also think, to your point about the live local events, LinkedIn Live is already pushing that. They've pushed those LinkedIn local events. You can marry the two, and now we've got some opportunity. The reason that I predicted that, Ross, is because I really think that we're going to see kind of the reemergence of, let's call it the IRC chat room, right? Where we see those slices, because you're right, I can't afford to create my own app. But if I could do that, like, I don't know do you remember Ning, Ross? Did you ever use Ning?
I looked at it once when I had the idea of creating some sort of social network, and I looked at it and.
Yeah, but I think that's where we're at. And by that, I mean, one platform then that either it's a forum, which was kind of the Ning philosophy, or whether it's an interactive, almost like a Facebook-like thing. But the key to that is going to have to be speed and mobile first, not desktop first, right? And I think that's where we've missed. And the only network that I've seen do that, to your point, is Mighty Networks, but they don't offer any live streaming because it's really just a shell. But I think if perhaps, it wouldn't surprise me actually if Facebook or Google bought them and then basically left them alone, except added in some live stream. Yeah. Because that's the big miss, right? That's the big miss. What was it? Ustream for a while. They sort of had that, but their app was so wonky and the video costs were so high that didn't work. Blab sort of did that. But none of these have really been mobile first, and mobile first plus the rise of some segmentation, and then, to your point, added value offline. Right. This is the big difference. So many folks, they think this is it. And if you don't have any e-commerce set up, it makes it really hard.
And I think, it's getting harder and harder to be the one that stops the scroll in the social feed, which is getting busier and busier. And so if your show looks like everybody else's show, and people aren't even turning on the volume, people need to see something that's different, that looks different, that looks like something's going on that they can't miss at this point. And while having transcription and having captions is helpful, and I think it's on my list of things to add for 2020 for sure. I mean, it's becoming a must. There's also the idea of things need to change visually, whether it's, like you said, going to a pre-recorded video clip for 10 seconds, or changing the shot, or changing a background or something. There's got to be like a way that tells the audience, hey, hang in there, things are happening. Changing the guest, like you had Jim on for a few minutes, then you have me on for a few minutes, then you'll do something else. So there's always something coming up that you don't want to miss. And it's sort of like live radio in that sense. Let me tell you what happened at the store today. You're not going to believe it. We'll be back right after the weather, and I'll,
right
after these matches.
The tease. The tease, right? So perhaps, what I'd be curious, and Ross, have you heard anyone that you think is Paul Harvey-like and that does that really well, that can tell a story? I mean, you do a nice job. I mean, that promo that you did there for the 160 predictions was totally felt natural. And I mean that, right? Like, I didn't feel like you forced that. That was really nice. But besides you, have you heard someone that kind of slides those in well and doesn't sound like a schlock? I mean it, man, because I've heard some of the worst stuff, right? They really are horrible, man.
It's it's a tough thing to do, and I've heard people do it well, but to have the name on the tip of my tongue of who does it well is kind of hard to say. But it's going to become important, because like when you talk about Christian's prediction, and I hope Christian's feeling better, he talked about really short but well-produced segments. And of course, if you want to have a call to action in that, you can't take a lot of time wading through that call to action if you have, let's say, a really well-produced 10-minute video or 5-minute segment, and that's all you're giving people so that they can watch the whole thing. How do you quickly brand yourself? Do you brand yourself with audio, with video? Do you have some type of scrolling? Like, how are we going to do that in a way that people can consume the content, get that little bit of call to action information that you need to get out there? Because after all, most people are trying to somehow tie what they're doing with content creation to their business. How do we do that? And the more you can do that without interrupting the content, the more likely you are to keep your audience.
Yeah, great points, man. Great points. So cool. So lot of kind of prognostication there, and hopefully hopeful looks for the future about what's coming. But the now, what's your favorite app for 2019, and that you think is going to be super powerful? I can't guess it, Ross. So
yeah, I don't know. It might be one that we're using right now, that you and Christian use, that Jim uses, and so many people in the chat are using, and that's Streamyard. Streamyard has really been a difference maker for me in 2019. I started using it at the beginning of the year, and long before I started doing shows for Streamyard and working with Streamyard, it became my go-to for doing talk shows and interviews and even recording podcasts, because the audio and video quality is high, but the ease of use, it's so easy to use. It's so easy to get guests on. It's the most stable of this type of platform that's out there. And now they have their own multi-streaming capability. I love using StreamYard, and I'm sure everyone who's watching has probably experienced it, either watching this show, so they're experiencing it now, or by hosting on StreamYard. And it almost speaks for itself. You've never had to ask me to go out and come back in, or refresh my browser, or do something with my audio. It all just kind of works.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it is incredible. Right? I've used a lot of these platforms. I mean, I know you've used even more than me, Ross, but truly StreamYard is a game changer now that it has recordings as well. I mean, for $25 a month, because I don't like getting yearly subscriptions, because as much as I want to fund the founder's retirement, I really want to make sure that every month they're innovating, right? I want to make sure that they have a good community. I want to make sure they have that. But I'll tell you what, the community here with the StreamYard team, Rob kind of managing the community, and then Gage and the other founder are fantastic. I mean, they're super responsive in the Facebook group. They're super helpful. They keep doing cool stuff. I mean, I'm genuinely impressed with what StreamYard has done. And if you're listening, folks, you go to socialchefs.com/go/StreamYard. And you can get you can get StreamYard. There's a trial there. I do encourage you to pay for it. It's totally worth it. Their free version is great. If you're just going to practice, that's fine. But I would tell you, if you pay for it, you get to go to LinkedIn Live. You get to save the recording. You pick 2 channels at a time for $25 a month. If you do have people on other platforms, it's really easy as well. But yeah, like you see, this is totally seamless. We loaded all this stuff up ahead of time. Christian's sick, so he loaded it up for us. Which is awesome. Super grateful. So, Ross, you said you're going to do StreamYard Connect, though. Tell us about that. What's going on with that?
Okay, so we've been doing it. We're in our 2nd season of doing it, and we started out going to LinkedIn Live right after StreamYard became an official provider for LinkedIn. And now for the 2nd season, and episode 15 will be coming up in a couple of weeks. We're now going not only to LinkedIn on both my personal profile and on the StreamYard page, but we're going to Facebook Live on the StreamYard page, and we're going to the Twitch StreamYard channel, as Twitch is now an official destination as well. Also going live on my Periscope/Twitter. So we're taking advantage of the multi-streaming, and the Pro plan allows you to go up to 5 destinations at once. So we're taking advantage of that. We've had a lot of great response to especially adding Facebook Live, a lot of the good chat going on Facebook Live. And what the show is basically a chance to get to know StreamYard, find out what's going on in the live streaming industry. We feature different StreamYard users and some video and audio clips from shows. It's just a chance to get up to date on what's going on with StreamYard, learn the latest features. I often go through a short description on how you can use them, and if you're not using them, what the pros and cons are for integrating them into your broadcast. And then I do a post show, which is a combination of taking questions and sharing my thoughts on other things going on with either StreamYard or live streaming or content creation. So
awesome.
I need to come up with a shorter explanation, but there you go.
That's the show. So, yeah, no, that's good, man. So cool. Well, if people want to stay connected with you, Ross, you're all over the web. You create so much great content. Where would you send them? Where would you like them to talk to you with?
Connect on LinkedIn, and you can message me on LinkedIn. We're probably already connected there, or Facebook Messenger. My personal Facebook profile is probably my most frequently used communication platform at this point, is Facebook Messenger. So that's great. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can go to livestreamuniverse.com.
Wow. Such good stuff. Livestream Universe, as Ross mentioned, 160 predictions for live streaming, digital media in 2020. Christian and I both contributed to that. I know others have as well. Really great stuff. We're really grateful for you, Ross. Hopefully you'll stick around. We can make fun of the other guests together.
Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Happy holidays.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Thanks so much. So cool. So we're really grateful to Ross. He does some really, really cool stuff, and he's always fun to hang with. So our next guest, I'm super excited about. We unfortunately looks like we missed her special guest today, which was her little munchkin, who is happily looking in the eyeball of the camera. But unfortunately, he ran away. So we're just excited that Christine Gritman's here. Christine is awesome. She talks all about social media for small business and is a lot of fun. She's been a frequent guest on the show and has so much energy. Christine, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I don't know how much energy I'll have today because I haven't had my coffee yet. But
no coffee.
I've clearly had snuggles from the aforementioned munchkin, so that's good.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Cool. So what are you excited about for 2020? Don't tell us your prediction yet, but what's going on in your business that's going to be exciting in 2020?
All right. Well, I was very excited to be part of Ross's predictions as well, by the way. That was an awesome lineup. And I have my own video coming out actually about people's most fun content to create in 2019. So that's coming out sometime before New Year's. We'll see when I get to it. But yeah, so what I'm excited about for my business in 2020, not my industry prediction, is I've been in business 3.5 years, and I've been helping people mostly one-on-one locally, literally like sitting next to them and helping small business owners figure out what they're going to do with social media. And I don't know why it took me this long, but I recently realized I don't have to be local. I don't have to sit next to somebody. We have Zoom. We have all sorts of video conferencing tools. We have all sorts of technology at our disposal. So the fact that I've realized that I can work with anyone anywhere has unlocked some things for me. The fact that I should really expand into online coursework and a lot more in-person events for large groups, that's really going to help me be able to help way more of these small business owners than what I've been doing, which will hopefully also result in profit for me, But generally speaking, it's really going to get me unstuck. And I'm very, very excited for this. And I already have a lot more events on the calendar in 2020 in terms of group workshops. I'm going to be teaching a course, a series of specific workshops, not a course, at the Hunter College School of Continuing Education here in New York City. So, lots of exciting
Holy cow!
stuff.
That's fantastic! Yeah. Congratulations! I'm so excited for you, Christine. That's great news. Yeah. So folks, if you're hearing Christine, the good news is you can do that too, right? You can use tools like Streamyard and Zoom and cool stuff like that that'll help you get beyond your local demographic. And if you are just local, that's okay. You can still use it because remember, local doesn't mean just next door to you. Local could mean whatever community you build, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So awesome. So what do you think that's going to happen in 2020? What's your prediction of what's going to change the world in this coming year?
So I've been an avid user and observer of live video for years. I was part of the Facebook Live beta back in 2015 because I was a journalist back then. It's before I started my business. And we've seen it really grow by leaps and bounds, obviously. There are all these platforms now, Streamyard, Ecamm, BeLive, all that stuff. And we've seen the launch of things like LinkedIn Live. We've seen the launch of being able to go live on YouTube, all of these things. So it's really all pushing towards live video, which means the demands are going to be getting higher for features there. One thing I definitely think is going to need to happen is the marriage of live video and the rise of captioning tools. They're really going to have to advance that technology really quickly so that we can have a situation where the words I'm saying may not be perfect. You may have to edit for the replay, but the words I'm saying can appear on the bottom of the screen as I'm saying them in a live video. I think that we need to get there. I think the platforms are probably all scrambling to figure out that functionality. Another thing is that I feel like platforms, especially LinkedIn and Instagram, are really going to have to make their live videos work harder for people. People have been accustomed to things like how Facebook and I believe YouTube, I admittedly don't do much YouTube now. I'm going to really focus on that a little more in 2020, but they give you your video. Like you can use your live video after the fact. LinkedIn, it's technically there, but they don't make it very easy at all to find past content. So I think that they're going to have, a really dedicated spot for repurposing video. And then Instagram, we have stories, we have feed videos, we have story highlights, we have IGTV, which now is starting to be a situation where you can kind of have a series and you can actually notify people when a new episode is up. That's just starting to roll out. I think they really need their live offering to have more continued value. I think you need to be able to save your live video, maybe in IGTV, maybe in a whole separate tab. I don't know. But the fact that on Instagram, you can't announce that you're going live and then it lives in your story for 24 hours and it's gone. I feel like that's a big miss in terms of live video opportunity. And again, LinkedIn Live, I feel like I haven't gotten sufficient value out of. So I think that both of those platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn, if they are going to be playing the live video game, I think they need to step it up. And I think that all the platforms, probably starting with Facebook and YouTube, are going to have to add live captioning somehow, some way.
Wow. Wow, that's bringing it.
Thoughts.
So yeah, I guess you do. So Jim and I talked a little bit about the beginning, but you got even more on that, which I totally love. My question about that though is, if Instagram does that, what makes Instagram any different than Facebook?
I feel like what people come there for is different. Really, it's less about what makes Instagram different from Facebook. I think it's going to start being what makes Instagram different from YouTube. And I think the answer is still going to be plenty. Instagram is really visual first, and I think it's going to remain visual first, even though speech is going to be more of a thing, obviously, with live videos and such. I think they've done a good job already of differentiating, because the fact is, stories, Facebook is trying to get stories going. They're trying to make fetch happen, as I say when I talk about Facebook stories. And stories started with Snapchat, but it successfully kind of subdued Snapchat. So I really think that Instagram is going to, it used to be so feed first, and it's increasingly, in terms of user consumption, becoming stories first. So I think that certainly differentiates it. I think the thing about what live video is going to do, again, I need to delve into all of this more in 2020. I've decided video is really, it's been my thing. It's going to be even more my thing. I'm going to explore YouTube more. And I have never done an IGTV. But I think that really, I think they're going to have to figure out what does that. I think that live videos that are successful on Instagram, right now there's kind of no way of knowing what kind of live video is successful on Instagram because it's gone. But I think that one thing that's going to be helpful is making it more fast moving, for sure. I feel like a live on Instagram should be more fast moving and maybe a little more behind the scenes than on other platforms. I think it's really going to be the users that are going to determine what makes video on one platform feel different from video on another platform. I think the users are already making that happen. And I think that's just going to become clearer the more tools we have to A, do it successfully, and B, analyze what that means to do it successfully.
Ooh, interesting. Because, I will tell you, when I go to Instagram, if I see that you've gone live, I ignore you. And I don't know you, Christine. I mean, like,
no, I never go live on Instagram.
No, right. I'm just saying the royal you. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't think it does anything for anybody. I think that, because there's less control. I think it's less interesting. Me holding my phone. They have to make it
more of a thing or abandon it. And I don't think they're going to abandon it.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to abandon it either, because I think people are way too vain and they love to see themselves on camera. So,
well, also it's generational too. That generation, they're not going to be going on Facebook Live. They're not going to be going on LinkedIn Live. Yeah. They're going to be doing they're going to be doing Instagram Live or TikTok. I mean, and that's already such a difference in things. They're going to be doing Instagram Live or maybe YouTube. But the fact is, again, generationally, they don't just hop on YouTube. The people who are younger than us, they see YouTube as a more produced medium, or not necessarily produced, but like you have to have a thing. If they're going on YouTube, they want it to be a thing. Instagram, they can just kind of be on and live their lives.
Yeah. Good point. Really cool.
Yeah, so that's a big generation with a lot of power. So I don't think that they're going to let Instagram fall.
All right.
Not yet.
All right. I like it. So what's your tool? What you got?
My tool, mentioning before the importance of captions, is Quick. That's QUICC, like closed caption, huh? Ah. And I like it. I wasn't captioning my videos before. I still don't caption them as consistently as I'd like to, and I'm going to start getting more on that. But part of why I didn't caption videos a lot, I do a ton of live streams, and going back afterwards to the replay and adding captions used to be such a bear. Because I don't know if you've ever looked at Facebook's auto caption, but I'd have to make corrections every line. It was just exhausting. For a little while, I had my sainted mother doing it. My wonderful mother was going on and trying to work through editing those terrible captions. And eventually she's like, this is taking a long time. I'm like, you don't have to do it. It's okay. Then Quick happened. Quick just launched this past year. and they're based in Wichita, Kansas, and they're fantastic. And originally, I just knew about them because I was friendly with them already through some mutual friends. But they're really on it. So, first of all, their machine learning has gotten really advanced really quickly. So I've been in them since the beta, which was this spring. They're a really new product, and I've seen how much better they've gotten so quickly. I go on, and you know how I said on Facebook I'd have to edit every line? I have to edit maybe 2 words in the whole video on Quick. It learns really quickly. It hasn't yet learned that my last name is Gritman, not Griffin. It did recently learn that LinkedIn is always what I mean, and not Lincoln like the president. But I mean, those are pretty much it. I barely have to correct a thing. They're actually working on making it so that it learns your words, because I'm signed in as me, right? I'm not just hopping on the website. So they're going to make it so that you do have that dictionary like you do on your phone. My phone knows I never mean ducking because I've been able to program that in my own personal dictionary. And you can do that. And so you can't do that yet on Quick, but it is coming. Quick is also working on, they've already expanded how big the video file can be, which is good because my primary video that I do every week is half an hour. And generally for a decent looking file, it's been too big for me to upload to Quick. But recently I have been able to. And it's great because you upload that recording of your live video, you edit the captions, then you can download. Normally you download the video with the captions burned in, but you can download just the SRT file, go into Facebook, load up the SRT file to that live video replay, and suddenly your formerly live video now has subtitles. And I just love that. And I'm going to use that so much more heavily in 2020. And for short videos, of course, it's a miracle. It's quick, it's accurate. The lack of editing is a huge factor to me. The thing that first drew me to it is you can make the captions cute. You can choose your font, you can choose your colors, you can choose if it's at the bottom or the top and how far away from the margins it is. You can choose your kind of background of the caption if it's got sort of a highlight there. I really like that the captions can be branded. I love that that my captions don't have to look like your captions, don't have to look like someone else's. If you've got a strong visual brand, that is one of the most useful functions of Quick, potentially. The fact that it can look how you want it to look. But really, I just love that I don't have to edit it to death.
That sounds ducking awesome. Fantastic.
It is ducking awesome.
Wow, huh? Pretty darn cool. So, folks, if you're listening and not watching, it's socialchefs.com/go/QUICC for closed captioning. Very nice. Very, very nice. And Barb Tomlin adds in that accurate auto captioning, auto detection languages is essential to global adoption. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think that'll
That's
be
smart.
fun. Yeah, as that happens. So Barb, that's a great, great point there. We'll see that soon. So Christine, if people want to get more of your awesome, how do they get connected with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm everywhere, and I'm the only Christine Gritman, which is awesome. That's Gritman, Grit, like when something's gritty, like sand, and MON, like Monday. So it's not MAN, it's MON. And it's Christine Gritman. I'm Christine.Gritman.com, so really Gritman.com. I'm Christine Gritman Inc. on Facebook. I'm C. Gritman on Twitter and Instagram. My YouTube channel is a ghost town, but it's going to get lit really soon. So
Awesome.
on LinkedIn, Christine Gritman.
And LinkedIn. Of course. Thank you, Christine.
I'm not
You're
on
fantastic.
TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok.
I can't get logged into TikTok.
I haven't tried.
Every username that I usually use, either Phil Gerber or Phil Gerbishak, is taken, and I can't reset the password. So
How many Phil Gerbishaks are there?
There's just one. In fact, I would tell you there's only one Gerbishak, because if it's spelt like me, my family anglicized it about 1910. So if there's a Gerbishak, it's this guy, and I can't do it. So
That's nuts.
oh well, that happens. So thank you, Christine. You're fantastic. If you'll stick around, we'll bring you all back on at the end here, because I'm just gonna give my little prediction here next. And as I do, one of the things that I think is important, folks, is that if you really want to grow your business, you need to get email marketing. You need to figure this out. You need to find a way to get people involved, because what happens when you can't notify people? What happens when people can't listen? They can't see what's going on. You need to be able to give them another way, right? Sometimes social networks go down and you own your list. So what I encourage you to do, sign up at socialchefs.com/daily, get our stuff so that you can stay on top of that. That's one of the things that I think is going to be really important. One of my big predictions for 2020 is real simple. I see more one-on-one communication, not just crappy newsletters, but really one-on-one communication with smaller and smaller networks, certainly where the body of it might be the same, but there's going to be some personalization there that really adds value to the person that you're talking to. I see that we're going to see more psychographic stuff instead of just demographic stuff, meaning I'm going to target actually what you said you need based on things. My buddy Phil M. Jones, if you haven't read his stuff, Exactly What to Say, he's awesome. He says one of the magic words for people is because you said. So you repeat something back to them and then you offer them something with that. Because the key here is you can't just throw crap at the wall and hope that it sticks. And I get tons of these spam all day. I get sales at every Vector Solutions company branded website that we have. And some of the stuff that we get would make your toes curl. It is horrible. And that doesn't work, folks. We're not trying to buy nuts and bolts. We're a technology company. And folks miss that. Or I get hit up with people who want to sell me LinkedIn leads, and I teach LinkedIn for sales. Really bad stuff there. Instead, personalize. In fact, I'd go a step further, and I would say be a person. Remember that you're talking to a person on the other end. That's one of my big predictions. The other one I'll tell you is I really think that text messaging is going to go even further. Although with Apple and Google now saying if you're not in their contacts, you're not going to get that. So I think we're going to have tools that actually integrate so that it comes from you, so that you actually get real opt-in for text instead of all these crappy spammers that get through. Those are my two big predictions. And let me share my favorite tool of the year. I talked about it a little earlier, and that is Otter. Otter is an amazing tool. I talk about Otter all the time. I can't believe that there's anybody that's ever seen the show that isn't familiar with Otter, but Otter is my favorite tool. If you go to socialchefs.com/go/otter-voice-notes-iOS for the iOS version, it's fantastic. What I love is that in real time, it'll transcribe a meeting. I can set the phone in the middle of the table and I can transcribe it in real time. And then it'll save the MP3 and the transcript so I can listen and edit. And as I'm coaching sales professionals, it actually helps them prepare, practice, and produce their best results. So I'm super, super stoked about that. And if you want to find out more about me, you can just search for Gerbyshak. You'll find me on any platform, Gerbyshak. Now, Christian is out sick today, which means this is my show today, which means I get to bring my friends back on so we can play. So first, Jim Fuse, Ross Brand, and Christine, are you ready? Here we go.
I'm back.
Wow.
Holy cow.
It
The
works.
Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. Oh, yeah. And Christine lost her camera, but what's up, everyone? So cool. So, Jim, I'm going to give you first word here. You heard Ross, you heard Christine. What do you think about their predictions, man? And what do you think about their tools that they mentioned?
Well, first of all, I felt like I was in a college course learning from some professors, which was great. And it's always good to listen and learn. I think there are some great predictions, but I also think the one thing we have to remember, where I think this is where small businesses and people struggle, is my job is not to be all things to all people. My job is to have a target audience, and where do they live? So I think to Christine's point about Instagram, and you brought it up as well, I don't know that I'm going to spend a lot of energy trying to be like the most viewed person on Instagram. I'm going to focus on the platforms where my audience is, which is LinkedIn, which is Twitter, which, yes, it falls over to Facebook. But I think, and this is my, if you want to call it prediction, I feel like the problem with Facebook, and I say it all the time, they're trying to be all things to all people. And that's why people have lost trust and faith in them.
Awesome. Good stuff, Jim. So, Ross, what about you, buddy?
So my big takeaway, and like I mentioned, I had it on my list, but I'm focusing even more, and I've been checking out all these different tools while I was in the green room, is the captioning and transcription aspect and how to go about doing it and which tool would be the right one, and do I burn captions in or do I just use them like subtitles, and what's the pros and cons? There's a lot to think about which tool to use. Does it charge by the minute? Does it charge by a monthly subscription and unlimited? And what else can it do? I think these are things everybody's going to need to consider going forward. Like you said, it's going to be as expected as also having audio with your video, right?
Yeah, that seems so right. That seems so obvious, and yet I would tell you, right? 10 years ago, we thought we could call in on the phone, right? I guess that was how the phone used to look. Now it looks like this, right? So, but right 10 years ago, we would call in. I remember Hipcast, right, and some of those where we'd call in for podcasts. And it was like, but holy crap, it's audio, yay! And now it's got to be great. It's got to be flawless. We all have good good mic that hears us as well as that we listen with, so that we can dampen that sound. Because if there's bad sound, nobody's listening. So that's really good. Good point, Ross. So Christine, you got a chance to hear the guys before. What do you think here? What do you hear? What do you predict? What do you got as a follow up to their stuff?
Well, I feel really bad because I didn't get to hear Jim. Sorry. Because I actually came on and my computer promptly died, which is why I'm on my phone now trying to figure out what I'm doing. But I think that, I really liked what Ross said about in real life events. To your point about LinkedIn Local and LinkedIn Live being a perfect marriage, I'm actually a LinkedIn Local host in my area, which is another thing that I'm building up a lot more in 2020. We're formalizing it more. And we always do a LinkedIn live stream from there. And I think that that's going to become a lot more of a tool. And also, I mean, I know going live from events, you also meant things like, conferences or places where we're, interacting with other people. And I think you're absolutely right, because the thing is, we've reached a point where, thankfully, so social media was originally to sort of accommodate in real life engagement, and then it became its own thing, and it started kind of replacing in real life engagement, and people became very disillusioned, and we're really reaching a point where it's boomeranging back, hopefully not to a rejection of social, but to using social as an enhancement for real connection. And I think that what you said about live video at events and things like that, and kind of bringing it together and having it enhance each other, at least that's what I understood you as kind of saying, is a really powerful thing. And I think it matters. And I think it's really going to make it clear that the sum, it's greater than the sum of its parts when you combine social and real life events.
Awesome. Love that. I think, what you all said about targeting, I think is super important. I think we're also going to see even more voice activation, right? We're going to see that folks are going to use things like Alexa and Siri and Google Home and Apple Home and all that stuff even more. And it's one of the reasons why we have an Alexa flash briefing for this, right? Ooh. It's socialchefs.com/Alexa, because I really think that's important. Because here's the thing, right? If I'm in my kitchen and I want to listen to something, I may not be able to put down what I'm cooking, but I will want to listen to something, and I want to be able to change the channel fairly rapidly. And I think that's super important. I think also with Facebook's portal now that offers live streaming, that totally makes sense. I mean, we saw Stephanie Liu going live this past week, right? And Jen Herman and some of these folks that are some of our former guests that are super smart, right? That they're playing with this, and I really think we're going to see, and we predicted this actually a couple months ago, where we're going to see like live cooking demonstrations, because it only makes sense at a bigger screen. And as I think about that, right, I see, live classroom demonstrations, live business demonstrations, perhaps if you're a mechanic, right, where you might put the portal so that people can trust you more. Because again, live video can't be edited, though I think we're going to see some weasels that decide to push recorded video through live, because we always see that. And I got to tell you, that's going to decrease trust even more. So, folks, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, boy, I wish I had a tool that could push that pre-scripted video through my live channel, stop looking for it, you cheating bastard. Okay. So that's all I got.
Keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real, right? So go live. So I'm super grateful for my friends today, for Jim and Ross and Christine. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody that was watching today. Lisa Monks, we had Vivek Nair, we had Eileen Smith was on, Tim Sohn was on. We've got Barb Tomlin was on. Really, really cool. And everybody that's watching, that's a lurker, we value you so much. And everybody that listens on the replay, we value you too. Let us know what you think. Next week, Christian hopefully will be back. We'll be on at 8 a.m. Eastern again. That's 5 a.m. Pacific, which means watch the replay. Don't come on live unless you can't sleep or you work third shift. That's okay too. We love you too. But let us know what you think. And we hope you have an awesome new year, that you're dedicated to whatever it is you're doing. And that point that we made before, right? Focus on your audience. Don't worry about being all things to all people. Thank you, my friends. And here we go.
Awesome.